Hi everyone, and welcome to the third episode of WIP Wednesday from the Leah Be Next YouTube channel. And I'm Leah, and it is already the third week that I have made this video podcast, and I'm just really happy that I have stuck with it, even though I still feel very awkward. So just bear with me. Okay, let's get into it. So last week, I talked about how I was working on things to improve the podcast. So I have a few more improvements for this week. So the first one is that I have actually made show notes for the description box. So basically, I have links for my Instagram, my Ravelry, all of my project pages for my WIPs, and all of the shops that I mentioned. So I'll talk more in depth about like each project, but all of the details that I talk about, like what yarn I'm using and needle sizes and hook sizes and all that, will be in my Ravelry project page. So you can find that there, or you can always ask me if you can't go on Ravelry. As well as all of the shops that I talk about, like yarn dyers and project bag makers. Speaking of project bags, that's another improvement for this week. I'm actually going to show you my project bags because I know a lot of people do that. And then finally, at the end of the episode, I have put some music with pictures of this week's projects and like the status. I always do that every week to like update my Ravelry pages on a weekly basis. So I have all of those pictures and then just a few pictures from stuff that I did this week, which is like one thing that I did, and then a bunch of pictures of my dog. So I'll talk about my dog now just so you can learn more about him. So my dog's name is Mickey, and Mickey is 10 months old and weighs 70 pounds. So he is a big boy. And he's a mixed breed, so he's a German Shepherd mixed with a Golden Doodle. So you'll get to see him at the end of the video when I just share some pictures from this week, which is all of the pictures are of him except for one. So I hope you enjoyed that at the end of the episode. But for now, we will move into finished objects. So I don't have any actual finished objects, but I have something that is half done, and well, I'm not sure if it's half done. You'll see what I mean. So it's definitely more than halfway done, and this is something that I have been working on for 10 months, so before my dog was born. And I'm just really happy that I have made it this far. So that is, I finished the separate plies of the fiber braid that I have been working on. I feel embarrassed that it took me this long to get it done, but I'm here and I made it this far. So I'll talk about the actual braid itself before I talk about any more of my feelings about why it took me so long to get this far. Anyway, okay, so this is, let me get the card. This is from Wound Up Fiber Arts. I really love this company and the braids they make. So this base is a merino cashmere silk blend, 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% silk. And the colorway is called Excite. I'll show the card again. I really love Wound Up Fiber Arts. I have a lot of braids from them. They're all like stacked up right there. So hopefully I'll get through them more faster. I bought this in like September or October of last year, and I think it sort of like rings Halloween-y type colors. So now that Halloween is closer, it makes sense. Okay, so this is the first time that I'm going to try to do a 3-ply. So I'll show you the 3 separate bobbins. So it's like, ooh, let's see. Yes, there we go. It was a lot of purple, blues, greens, browns, and I know that's not focusing all the way, and I apologize. So that's one bobbin. Then there's this one. Let's see if this is like just really, really dark colors, and down there too. Another thing I can work on, having a better camera and more light. Okay, and then this one. So I have the 3 separate bobbins done, and now I will ply it. I cannot say that the plying would be done by next week, but normally when I ply, I try to get through it very, very quickly. So maybe, I can't say it will be done by next week, but that would be my hope, to get that just finally done so that I can start something new. Just because it's been so long that I've been working on that, like almost 10 months. So I'm ready for something else. Not really sure why it took me so long, but anyway, I'm gonna move on from that. Okay, so that's like a half FO because I finished the separate plies, but now I have to do the plying. Moving on, WIPs. Okay, number 1. I have 4 to talk about today. So the first one would be my Muscleburg hat. Muscleburg is a pattern by Isolde Teague. And I was going to show you the project bag I'm using. So this is the project bag I'm using. It is from Cottontail Farm, and so I've linked them below. And I got this bag during my local yarn crawl last year, and I got it because the school that I used to work at, the mascot was a tiger, so that's why I got that one. It's really cute. It also has some, let's see, I'm looking at the other side, so I'll turn it around. Some birds, a parrot. Love it, really cute. Oh, and the top band is koalas, which is really fun. Okay, so this was my super, super purple yarn. And there it is. It is just so bright, and I love it. So I think last week I was talking about how I noticed it was starting to spiral, and you can see that. So you can see how like the pattern, or not like the pattern, but the sequence of the yarn and the colors started spiraling up. But then I've noticed that like once you get to here, it's not like really spiraling anymore. It's like different. So I'm wondering if that's just from where like the yarn was sitting in the dye pot. I'm not sure, but regardless, I love it. So I was just measuring it while I was taking pictures right before I started recording, and right now it's 11.5 inches long, and so I have just about 7 inches to go. So what I've been trying to do is knit about 10 rows or rounds a day, and that gives me just about an inch. So if I keep up with that, then next week I would have done like all of the body knitting before I get to the top decreases. So this one should be done pretty soon. And now let me look at my notes so that I can tell you more about the logistics of this project. So I am using size 2 needles, and my gauge is right at 7 stitches per inch. I have really loved doing a swatchless pattern that like gives you the directions for how to knit at whatever gauge. I've really enjoyed that. This is my first time doing that, and it has really, I feel like, just made it go a lot faster, and it's really given me the confidence that it's actually going to turn out the size that I'm aiming it for. So I've really enjoyed that, and I will look forward to researching other patterns that do that. And if you have one that you want to share and you want to tell me about it in the comments, I would love that. Okay, this yarn is Robin's Promise Yarn Co. Songbird Fingering is the base. It's a 75-25 blend, 463 yards to 100 grams. And this colorway is called A Kiss Among the Tulips. All right, so I'm definitely over halfway done. So now I'm on the downhill slope, which feels great. Okay, moving on, project number 2. But first, the bag. This is my socks for this week. Okay, so here's this bag. This bag is from Beautiful Sister on the label there. And it's got some oranges and lemons. And I really like this because to me, I feel like I can use this in the spring, summer, and fall because it has all of those kind of colors. So yeah, I really enjoy this. I got this at 4 Pearls, which I talked about last week, and I'm going to talk more about later. Okay, so this is the Morning Coffee Socks by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady, and let me show you them. Well, not them, I guess just the like 3/4, 2/3 of a sock that I have, the one sock that I have. Okay. There we go, that's a little bit better. I will talk about the yarn first. So I have 2 colors here, and I know the black is not showing up. That's a little bit better. I'll talk about the yarn first. Okay, 2 colors here. Both of the colors are from A Girl and Her Wool. And I do not remember, actually that's not true, I do remember. It's the sock base and it's a 75% 25, why am I blanking on this? It's a 70-25 blend. And I can't remember what, if it's like a 400 yard to 100 gram or 430 or 460, but it is the 75-25% base. I am using size US 1, 2.25 millimeter, which is my, that's the size I always use for socks. And okay, so the Morning Coffee Socks has 3 different sizes. I have very small feet. So normally, historically, I have casted on 56 stitches for socks for myself. But lately, I've been wondering if that, lately as in like this summer, I've wondered if that is too small. So I have tried 60 stitch cast on socks. Well, what do I do for a pattern that's 56 and 64? So I have decided to do the 56. And I started knitting this, and I really love the pattern. I know the pattern is not showing up very well. I started knitting these, and last week I talked about the cuff, how I didn't really love the cuff, and I didn't really love knitting the cuff, and I'm not sure if I like the cuff knit up. And then I was questioning if the colors really work together. So I'm not necessarily feeling it with these socks. That being said, I'm going to keep going and try it on and see how I feel after I finish the first sock. If I still do not love them for myself, I have a friend who I have been wanting to knit socks for a very long time, and so I could potentially gift these. And the more I think about it, the more I want to do that. So I casted these on for me, but I am not sure that they are going to stay for me. So I will definitely have this sock finished by next week. We'll not have the other sock done, but hopefully we'll have at least gotten through, let's say I'll get through at least the cuff of that one for next week. That seems very, very manageable. to me. So definitely love it more than when I first started, now that I've gotten through the heel flap and gusset and I'm on the foot. Oh, you can see my little sheepy progress keeper. Okay, moving on. WIP number 3 is the big one, is like my main focus, I feel like, and that is my rainbow advent blanket. So here we go. Okay, there it is. So ironically, I am at the same like point in the pattern that I was when I recorded last week. So if I'm remembering correctly, when I recorded last week, I had one row of this green color, and so I'm up to one color of this like dusty blue color. So looking at my notes for last week's episode, I wrote down that I had done 4 color stripes since the week before that, and that I had 8 colors left. And then I went to make notes for today, and I have 4 colors left. So that means, theoretically, that I did another 4 stripes this week, 4 color stripes this week, and I have 4 colors left, including this one. So does that mean that I will finish this by next week, 1 week ahead of schedule? Because remember, I am trying to do at least 2 rows a day on this so that I finish by August 31st. And I'll definitely finish before that, because there's been several days that I've done more than 2 rows, just because I might have felt like keeping on going. But I definitely, this entire month, I have been doing at least 2 rows a day. And so that feels really good that I've been able to actually keep up with that. So it is very, very possible that I would have the crocheting done on this by next week. Very, very possible. 4 colors left. They're all blues. I definitely will not have the ends woven in by next week, but I could definitely have the crocheting done. I posted on my Instagram story about how it felt like once I got into the blues that I didn't have as much excess that I did for previous colors. And I definitely think that that has motivated me to get through a stripe, like a color block, faster, because I'm so worried. I'm like, well, what am I going to do if I run out of yarn? So then I just keep going until the end of that color so that I know if I run out. So far, jinx knock on wood, I have not run out. So hopefully it will stay that way. So let me talk about the actual pattern and logistics of this one. So this is the Crochet Thin Lines Ripple from Daisy Farm Crafts. My cast on number was 195. I believe, and I still have not looked this up for sure, that the cast on is a multiple of 12 plus 3. And when I casted this on, I wasn't sure if I was going to follow the striping sequence exactly as it is in the pattern, but I actually am. So in the pattern, they only use 2 colors, and so they have 4 rows of one color and then 1 row of the contrast color, and that's what I'm doing. So I have 4 rows of the color and then 1 row of the white. And the color rows are double crochet, ripple stitch, and then the white is just a row of half double crochet. So I wanted to talk more about that since I haven't really talked about I mentioned the pattern name, but I haven't talked about the exact specifics of the pattern. And I am using an F hook for this yarn. There's 3 different yarns in this project. So the colors are a part of the 2020 Advent from Country Mouse Yarns. And the white is Emma's Yarn Whisper color. And then I'm holding it double with white mohair, the Aloft mohair from Knit Picks. The other yarns, the colors and the white, they are single ply. This is the first time I've used single ply. It is very, very soft, but of course I'm worried about its longevity with it only being a single ply. But I am moving forward with this because I wanted to get it crocheted, and it's very, very big now and out of my stash. So there's that. Potentially could be done by next week. And I am now remembering that I did not show my project bag for this one. So here it is. This is a Tenty. I hope I am saying that correctly. This is a bag from them. I could not pass this bag up. I also got this at Four Pearls, which is a yarn store in Winter Haven, Florida. And it's so cute because on the inside at the top they have this striped pattern. And there's a few pockets inside, and it's holding the rest. Oh yeah, this is not really going to show up, but I have the rest of my colors in there. So 3 more after the one I'm working on right now. So going to keep moving forward with that. I definitely have the motivation to finish now that I just have a few colors left. Okay, last project I'm going to talk about today is my corner to corner blanket. I'm calling it my seashell corner to corner blanket because that is the name of the color. Oh, project bag. Okay, yes. This is another. Ooh, I wonder who chewed that off. The dog. This is another beautiful sister bag. This is I believe that this one is called the Heather, like that's the style, is the Heather bag. So this is really great because you can put it on your arm, and then it has these flaps on the sides that you can tie so that nothing will fall out. And then you can also, my personal favorite, move the strap over the side, and then it makes like a little yarn bowl. That's my personal favorite way of using it. So now for the actual blanket. It's not really much of a blanket. Well, it is much of a blanket. It's just not as big as the other one. So here it is. Lovely corner to corner crochet stitch. I really love this stitch because of the way that it looks very organized and uniform, and I really like that. I love how the color is working up. Right now it is about 30 inches, a little bit less than 30 inches from side to side, but it will grow a little bit more before I start decreasing on the other side. And I'll talk more about that. So this is Stroll Tonal from Knit Picks in the Seashell colorway, and I am using a D hook to just do the regular corner to corner stitch. I bought this yarn originally for a sweater. I bought 3 skeins for a sweater, and I did not like the sweater, so I frogged it. And I don't think that I unraveled it. I think I just cut it off and threw it away because it was only like the ribbing, and I was like, and it was held double with mohair, and I didn't feel like trying to separate the mohair. So I had like 3 balls of it, but they weren't all full skeins. So what I did was I piled them all on my scale. And I won't bore you with the specific numbers right now. Got that weight, divided it in half because that's how you know how far to go. So I have finished one of the skeins. So this is actually like 82 grams right here. And then to get to halfway, I needed about 50 more grams. So instead of just starting the next skein and then having to like stop and take the whole project to weigh, what I did is I took the second skein and just wound up until I put it back on the winder and wound up until I had 50 grams and then whatever was left. So I have 50 more grams to go, and this is it. I have not joined in that 50 gram section yet. So it will get a little bit bigger. I'm not sure by how much, but if you think that this is 80 and 50 is more than half of 80, it could grow. I don't want to say substantially, but it definitely could be like noticeably bigger. So the goal was to have this done by the end of August, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure on myself to finish this by the end of August. For August, I want to get the rainbow blanket, my Muscleburg, and then that pair of socks, the morning coffee socks, done. So if this is still not done by the end of August, that will be okay. But basically, I have a bin of leftover yarn or yarn that I was going to use, but then that project didn't work out or something, that I'm trying to get through. I don't just want to, I mean, some of them I have like skeins left over from projects, and I don't just want to get rid of it. So I'm trying to figure out ways to use that up. So I just figured I would do a little blanket with this one, and since it's 30 inches, it's already in like baby blanket territory. So I'll just finish that up, and then if somebody has the baby, I'll give it to them. So last week I did talk about my granny square blanket, and I have not touched that since, for like 2 weeks. So that one is still there, but I'm not going to show that today since it doesn't look any different than it did last week. So before we move on to the music and the pictures and stuff, I wanted to talk about two things in the up next category. So I did want to go ahead and share what I have pulled for my next spin in case I do start working on that by next Wednesday. I'm trying to be positive here. So you will see why I chose this one. Okay, let me see if I can show just a little bit of it. So here's this. It's already kind of deformed because guess who got into this and did this to it? Mickey the dog. So I'm not sure how much he might have eaten. So I don't know if it is actually 4 ounces, but I will weigh it before I divide it. So this is Emma's yarn, and it is 23.0 micron merino. It's merino, but it's definitely, the spin that I just worked on had the cashmere and silk, so it definitely does not feel as soft. It feels a little bit, not rough, but rougher than what I was working on. And I'm kind of looking forward to that, to changing it up after I've been doing something so smooth for so long. And I'm going to do a 2-ply with this and just get that spun up. I really want to do more of a true long draw method. Right now I feel like I do like a modified long draw, but I want to try more of like a real long draw. Or at least more real than what I've been doing. Anyway, other than that, something that I need to do by the end of August so that I can cast on September 1st is the Winter's Beach cardigan by Andrea Mowry. and I have had the yarn for like over a year. It is wound up, it is ready to go. I did get the original yarn for the pattern, which is Tweety by Hedgehog Fibers, which if you don't know, what they do is they collect like little bits of leftovers and the ties that the yarn comes with when you buy it, and they recycle it. And so you can see there's all these different colors, and they blend it with some new wool too. And Andrea Mowry designed a cardigan using this yarn, and of course when I first saw it I thought I have to have this. So I did actually cast on the swatch, but didn't get past like 4 rows. So I need to decide if I want to just rip it out and cast on a new swatch, just because, you know, my intention could be completely different than it was however long ago I did this. I don't even know, probably like a month or 6 weeks. So I definitely need to do that, and I am telling you on this episode so that I will actually do it and hold me accountable to it. Okay, well, that is everything that I have to talk about my projects this week. So I have the potential to have a lot of things done when I talk to you next week. So for now, I'm going to transition into the music and pictures, and I hope you enjoy that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it so